I'm gonna tell you a story. The first thing you have to understand is time doesn't work the way you think it does. You know me, Oracle, the one who's talking to you. Welcome to the cult. Welcome once again to Booty Tickled the True, and we are talking once again about Booty Tickled and the NLP, and the things I'm pretty sure have been used against me. Time this one happened was really rude. I'm not gonna get into deets, but it was rude, and it happened to a group of people too. It's probably why I'm not gonna get into deets, because like, not just my story. I'm not gonna be sharing other people's business. So, anyway, basically, time warping, making seconds feel like eternity. So basically, the brain processes time by how much detail it takes in. A good example of this is when you basically like tune out on your drive to work. Like you have taken in these details like as many times as you've driven to work. So the only thing that really will stand out is when a detail changes. So oftentimes you'll get in your car, boom, you're at work, and you're like, I don't even remember driving here. Well, that's basically your mind basic basically that's your brain being kind to you and being like, you don't need to pay attention, like you don't need to remember this whole drive. You've done it so many times. And it's basically one of the ways that your brain basically more or less limits the amount of information it needs to remember, among other things. Just because it's like inconvenient to remember that much. But so brain processes time by how much detail it processes. So like same amount of detail every single time, it tends to like feel like the same amount of time, although sometimes it feels like you kind of skip it. Usually after you've done it a bunch of times. Usually that happened to me when I was driving to school. Um, pack seconds within pack seconds with information to expand, starve to contract slash shrink those seconds. Um, so basically, time warping consists of two techniques. One is stretching. It involves things like slow speech, elongated pauses, and like stretching silences, like making the listener wait for you. Like if I was trying to do it, it'd be like, and with slow speech, elongated pauses, stretch silence. Something like that. And then there's compressing. That is flooding with vivid scenarios, rapid fire images, sensory experiences. And basically, the point of this is to control time and rhythm to own the tempo and basically control the decision making of the other person. Now, the person who did this only had really one recommendation. It's like when time doesn't feel right, is it your mind playing games or is someone else holding the clock? Um, that's a good question to be asking. Not gonna lie. I feel like if you're encountering someone doing stretching, the best way is to try to do like a compressing back at them and do like a compressing with a flood of questions, for example. Like, because the way that they'll try to set it up is they'll try to do the stretching in order to like basically like starve your time and then compression in order to flood it. And so what you do is when you feel like they're stretching it, then you go with a flood back at them so they don't have a chance to like then control the compression and you basically like take control of the conversation away from them if you feel like that's what they're doing to you. If you don't, if like, but also like be careful because you shouldn't like make just like assume that this is happening to you and then do something like mad rude. Like Oh, they're definitely stretching. I'm gonna do a compression question counterattack. Ha, ha. Don't be like that. Don't be rude. Pattern breakers, shattering thoughts mid sentence. This happens to us all the time. This happens to us all the time. This happens to everyone all the time. It's basically like, um, all right, so like, it's disarming the mind by confusing it. It's by throwing like a non sequitur in, like, like you're having a negotiation with someone, for example. Like, say you're in China where they have haggling. Just take my word on it. They have haggling in street markets in China, and you're haggling with someone, and like you're going back and forth, going back and forth, going back and forth. And then you just like point at a fireworks stall, like a different stall entirely. And like you just like ask about something over there. It's like, look, an invisible squirrel. It's literally actually the invisible squirrel thing. Look, an invisible squirrel. Boom. I distracted you long enough for you to be confused. And essentially it causes a what? Makes your brain sort of like basically reboot for a second. And when it's during that like that reboot like moment, when the people will be like, oh, all right, now that we have you caught off guard, that's when we're going to try to slip something in. Um, and that's the other thing. Like when it's done right, it feels like not like you're being persuaded or manipulated, but like you're just being caught off guard in like a funny or strange way, which is part of what makes it so freaking insidious. It basically like shocks the brain and forces it to blink for a second. And it like the video I watched didn't actually also have any ways that it recommended to deal with this either. But basically, if something like that happens and you're caught off guard, you're just caught off guard. Do what anyone does when they're caught off guard. Take a moment and actually think about what just happened. Like, was I caught off guard and it was actually just sort of like funny or strange, or are you caught off guard in a different kind of way? And once you have identified, oh, well, actually, it was a different kind of way, then you can unpack it. And like, what did that guy just try to pull? Anyway, thank you for watching. Please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe.